It is that fundamental belief, I am my brother's keeper, I am my sister's keeper, that makes this country work. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Some people are divided by religion, yeah. Oh, yeah. Some people are divided by their greed, yeah. Some people are divided by deception, yeah. Oh, yeah. Some have a lot of money but still in need, yeah. The time has come to help your hurting brother. Time has come to think about your sister. Can't turn a blind eye to their need, yeah. Share some love to help your hurting brother. Share some love to help your fallen sister. One God, one faith, one destiny, yeah. It's time for unity, yeah. Deception is tumbling down, live in unity, yeah, yeah. Division must be broken down, unite in dignity, yeah. United under God we stand. Unity is power for all. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Well, everything around us is changing, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nothing will ever be the same, yeah. Limitless scope for transformation, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yet no one has the answer for the pain, yeah. Selfishness and greed have many blinded. Heartlessness has many people suffering. Why can't we see our brothers' pain, yeah? Children are hungry and they are crying. Mothers are hurting and they are sighing. Yet all we care about is gain, yeah. It's time for unity, yeah. Deception is tumbling down, live in unity, yeah, yeah. Division must be broken down, unite in dignity, yeah. United under God we stand. Unity is power for all. Stand for unity, yeah.
You have been watching the latest development, and you seem to be very unsure of what to do next. You know something is about to happen, but again, you simply keep watching without a clue as to what to do next. Wake up, my brothers and sisters. You must move now to save yourselves. You must move now to prepare yourselves for the peril ahead. To delay is to open yourself to serious trouble, and there will be no one to blame but you. Lifeline Financial Programs has always been telling you that things will get very serious very quickly if you do not move now to prepare for what is coming. Nothing will get better. We are on a downhill ride. You must get up and move now to save yourself. It is predicted that you will be having serious financial problems soon. Will you sit and wait until everything has crashed then say, if I had known? Find us today at Lifeline Financial Programs. We have the best plans to keep you alive during the trying times ahead. Mark my word. You will remember every word I say. Don't wait until everything has fallen apart and you are running around like a chicken without a head. Find us at Lifeline Financial Programs today. We will help you find a way. Call us at 540-4555 or email us at lifelinebvlimited@gmail.com.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Raw Truth. And of course, uh, we are very delighted to come to you this evening as usual. Again, it's another amazing opportunity uh, to meet you here um, on this platform, whether you're watching on Facebook or you're watching us from our YouTube channel. We welcome you. Whether you're in the USA, Canada, the BVI, Jamaica, Africa, the UK, wherever in the world you're watching us from, we thank you so much for joining us. And of course, it's always a pleasure being here with you. Uh, there's so much happening, and when the day is done, we continue to bring you the relevant information, the latest information as it happens across the world. And of course, this evening we're connecting with our friends in St. Thomas. Uh, little heard of in St. Thomas nowadays, little heard of in most places across the world nowadays. And of course, when the day is over, it's absolutely amazing that the Caribbean region continues to be connected in ways that is different and unique to us in this region. We must say a very special thanks to our sponsors, Lifeline Financial Programs, for being a supporter of this program. And of course, remember, if you need to get your finances together, Lifeline Financial Programs is the place to go to prepare yourself for the days ahead. Um, Quite some serious days pending. And of course, unless you have yourselves um, set financially, economically to weather the storm, some of us are going to have a lot of serious problems. This cannot be taken lightly. Supermarkets in the USA are getting empty. They are becoming dry. Are you preparing, stocking away some food on the back end to make sure that you prepare yourself for what is coming? Um, Not a joke at all. And when the day is over, um, things continue to get serious as we uh, seemingly live in anticipation of what is coming. When the day is over, what preparations are we making to facilitate our survival in the coming days ahead? The jab is a problem. Many people are taking it very seriously. Many people are running away from getting this. They call it the poison jab. You should know. There's a lot of information out there right now, and many people are taking a very serious position. It was yesterday I got a call out of the great Big Apple that over 15,000 flights were cancelled. You're not hearing that on the news. You go into Britain, same thing. Hotels are filled with pilots who are off the job simply because they made their minds up that they're not taking the jab. How will this affect our economy? How will this affect our people across the world? How will this affect you as you strive to keep yourself together and to build your economy and to keep your life going? Will life be ever normal? These are some of the questions that we're asking. Is this the opportunity for the capitalist to benefit from all of this downfall and hike up prices to make another couple $1 trillion off the backs of our people? Is this what is happening? Is this the capitalist regime, or is this the system of the Great Reset as we know it? And if that is so, are we prepared for the madness that is coming? We have a very interesting guest this evening, and it's very interesting that we are having some of our very special friends out of St. Thomas. Um, she's a member of the local board of elections in St. Thomas, and is very involved in education, labor law, constitutional law, and the works. And of course, a very practical soul. She doesn't speak with water in her mouth, as my grandmother would say. She is a very practical woman, and when she speaks, she knows exactly what she's saying. She's not one of those, you call them jellyfish of a woman. She's a matriarch. And when the day is done, she understands exactly where she's at. We're talking about none other than Harriet Mercer. And she's someone who I met recently, and of course, a no-nonsense woman. Absolutely a no-nonsense woman. I'm not sure how many blockages they have blocked her in the USVI, because they probably got afraid of this woman when she speaks. They don't like when she speaks. Very unfortunate. But welcome to the raw truth. We facilitate the best of the minds right here on this program. And of course, please share the live. Share. Wherever your friends are, please share, because this is going to be a very interesting discussion this evening as we bring you the best of the raw truth right here on PSI Network. We're going to take another short break, and when we come back, we're going to open the platform to our special guest in a moment. When the going get tough, the tough gets going, my grandmother normally say. And when the day's done, when the times get tough, what you call it now, frugal minds come to the fore. I'm wondering how well most of us will be dealing with this season that we are experiencing right now. What is happening in St. Thomas? How is it happening over there in the USVI? How are the people coping with this madness? I call it the madness, because never in my life I've seen such crazy stuff, and people who are supposed to have sense look like they all lose their brain. Everybody turn a bunch of idiots. I'm not sure what the hell is going on. It's absolutely disgraceful. But when the day is over, is it that all our people have lost their minds? Is it that we have come to a place where common sense is gone through the window? What has happened to the brightest of all of us? We have come to a place where people seem to have lost their minds. What's really happening? We're going to find out as we bring Miss Mercer. I'm not sure if she's married or not. Let me bring her in so we can get a little more from her. My great Madame Mercer, how are you? Your sound is off, actually. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's better.
Wonderful, much better. How is it in the USVI? Talk to us.
It's excellent, actually. It's still a very, very nice place to breathe. We have fresh air. We have great foods and culture still. And we do have, as I had today, a great glass of Mabi.
Uh-huh.
All right? So I am set and ready to go. Mabi.
Yes,
and Mabi, in case some of you don't know, is a drink that's very well known for use in the different things that deal with the pulmonary system, your breathing and respiratory system and so forth. So
right.
Mabi is key, okay, as it was back in the day. All right?
Right.
Mabi,
right.
Okay?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
There you go. All right. And right here, this side of town, Mabi is a drink. I haven't seen it in a while. I'm not sure if our friends who are doing the Mabi, probably they're waiting until Christmas before they get up the best of the Mabi. I'm not sure.
Exactly.
But it's very good that you've had your Mabi. Listen, what's the weather like over there? You have a lot of rain, a lot of sun, a lot of breeze, a lot of snow, a lot of what? Talk to us.
Lots of snow, yes. But no, we've been having good weather, off and on, raining and so forth, but nonetheless, good weather. Good weather.
Amazing.
Yes, we're getting out of that spell of the hurricane season. We ended November 31st, and it's a good time because we see that we were lucky or spared so far. And though the concerns are still on for heavy showers, we still have homes that are without roofs and so forth. But for the most part, we've been spared, and we're so happy and gracious for that. And I hope that's what Tola was too.
Yep, of course. But
Okay.
you mentioned homes without roofs. Is it that people cannot afford to put on their roofs, or what do you think has caused that? Is it that they have left the country and gone and left the houses and there's no roofs, or they just can't afford to put them on?
Yes, roof repairing, as you know, is very expensive. very
Right.
costly. We do not build small homes in the VI, and neither the
Uh-huh.
BVI. And
Uh-huh.
so that square footage is very costly. And of course, you want the best in terms of repair. You don't want to continue with galvanized. You want to now move and upgrade to galvalume. The classic,
Ah.
okay? And sometimes you
Uh-huh.
want it in the pretty colors. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So certainly the cost will be more. The labor is more. With climate change, let's be real. This sun gets extra hot. The laborers then become, they capitalize on that, as they
Ah.
probably should. So people go through the loan programs and so forth, and that takes time. Some programs are even free, I know, to offset those who can't afford it. But again, that takes time. And so since 2017, you have people still without roofs on their homes. And that's too
Mm.
long. For some of these programs have either faltered along the way, or the persons gave up and used the money. We got into a situation this time around where they couldn't just use the money freely as they had done with the past hurricane. Okay, like back in Hugo and the others. So they end up doing now where they actually take the money, instead of giving it directly to you, they were giving it directly to the contractor and so forth. And the agencies giving the money, like FEMA in our instance. They caught up with what people were doing, taking the money and doing something else. So to safeguard that, they would give it straight to the contractors, through the banks and so forth. So it got a little more ticklish, harder for people to do that. But still, the outflow of that money to the contractors is still a holdup in many cases. So hence the roofs, the homes without roofs still. Okay, which is very unfortunate.
Tell me about the economics on the ground. You look at St. Thomas, which is a U.S. A
A
member
U.S.
state.
possession, territory.
Yes, a U.S. territory. And when you look at what is happening across the world, there are many philosophies in relation to what is happening economically in many places. Looking at the U.S. Virgin Islands, that territory, what are you seeing on the ground currently?
I'm seeing an upsurge. Unemployment is still high. Okay, we get that because many businesses faltered along the way, whether for moving for different reasons. Even the hardship of our WAPA, I think that is the greatest reason. And if you don't know what WAPA is, that's our Water and Power Authority. That in itself has shut down so many businesses and has disallowed many others from even thinking of coming here. Because as you know, going into business, the first thing you want to study is the economics. Can you make it? Can you make your profit margin? Can you make the cut? Employees, utilities, and all the nine yards. And so, we're seeing still a great problem in terms of the WAPA. Right now, WAPA is now going back to the PSC again, which is the Public Service Commission, asking them for yet another rate increase. And if you don't know, we're one of the highest, if not the highest, here in the Caribbean. We pay something as rounding off in a figure as 50 cents a kilowatt hour. And so people can't afford it. And that's on the residential end, much less on the 55 or whatever up on the commercial end. So that in itself blocks a lot of people from looking to invest, and it really makes a dent. So people then come into businesses, or even the locals here, we try to do businesses that wouldn't require so much of a opening, end on it, so if we can knock off some of that WAPA stuff, we do that. So I'm seeing a resurgence, especially for those people who want to work. I'm seeing where work is available, and I'm also seeing where people are being creative and creating their own entrepreneurship opportunities and so forth. So that's a good thing as well.
Listen, I've been listening into to news coming out of St. Thomas, at least for some part of it, and WAPA seem to be swallowing money like how camels drink water. What is going on in the U.S. Virgin Islands with WAPA and the money in that territory? Tell us about it. Where the money going?
Yeah, WAPA seems to be a failed agency, very failed right now, especially. Let me put this. WAPA it acts like a drug addict sometimes, and it keeps coming back to want money from us. And what we do is we try to fight it off the best we can, but that's not coming too good. Groups like us with the unite together, and we try to stop these passages of stuff. But certainly it's an old plant, very old power plant, and the things that it needs to make it up to date and up to speed, we just don't have those in place. Okay, failed contracts after failed contracts, costing billions and so forth. Internal money's missing and that type of stuff. So it's a failed entity that has been under scrutiny for a long time and is even under some auditing and so forth. Audit has released some very damning things, and yet they still say give us an increase because we have no other utility, no other recourse, no other competitor at the time. And so it's like, yeah, we know you all did bad. Like somebody said, don't worry about that anymore. Just let's get the money and go ahead. So that's where we are, and we can't get any further, okay? Because we just are stuck right there in the mud, you know, with that thing called WAPA. We're stuck in the mud with it.
Someone would think that that territory being, well, if the territory belongs to the USA, then these problems should never be happening at all. What exactly is creating this, if you ask me?
What's creating it?
Yes. Apart from the plant being old, apart from, we could understand the logistics of that. However, the territory belongs to the USA, the great USA, with all the resources in the world to do anything it wants to do with it. So why can't things in that territory be way better for the people there rather than all this garbage we're hearing about it? Talk with us.
Yeah, exactly. Instead, we have private investors come in and try to fix, you know, or capture and do whatever. But yeah, the feds and the federal government, you know, can do that indeed. Just step in and just give us everything new for a power plant, you know, all the new parts. And that would be quite a good move, if you ask me. You know what I mean? And stop this kind of suffrage, if you will, with the people here having to pay so high on our rates, our LEAC and so forth, and all the other fees, not just the LEAC. You know?
Wow.
Yeah, that would be quite a good move. And we also have different companies that would come and tell us, consultants, and they would say all the ways they can cut off here and cut this and cut there and get away with it, and they would still end up you know, saying, nah, we're not interested in that. Different investors would come with a different way of doing, instead of fossil fuel, we'll do thermal energy and so forth. And they'll get like, now WAPA says, no, we're not interested in that. So it's too much of a monopoly, but at the same time, we don't want to say that we want to sell our power company. We love the fact that it is the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority, okay? But certainly it's has some tentacles in there whereby the private people own even the water distribution end of it. And I understand even some power industry and end of it, and we just owning the lines, okay, the distribution lines. So it's quite an interesting thing going on. We're right now at the buttress of getting a new CEO, okay, Chief Executive Officer, and we don't know yet those names. At least I didn't hear those names yet. 3 people, and even the governor wants to get involved in which one becomes the CEO. And he has also been protecting the utility very much. That's some of the word on the ground, is some of the people getting disgusted with the governor continuing to protect the utility, when even the Senate, the legislature, would look to try to do bills and, you know, create something to give us relief. And here comes the governor saying, no, we're going to hold on, we're going to make it work. And so it's quite interesting what's happening there. Now, some people have turned to solar energy, those that can't afford it, and others are thinking of ways to make it happen, like say group together with others to cut, you know, the costs, you know, and do like a whole neighborhood and so forth. So there are talks in all directions when it comes to utility savings in the territory. And again, that is the major thing you're going to need, as in most businesses. Not every business need that, water and power, but most businesses do.
Let me ask you this. In relation to the costs, you look at the rates as they happen. You look at the millions of, is it that or is it that the company is not making enough money to cover its overhead? Or are they wasting the money?
The understanding is that they're making more than enough, and that the higher or the echelon, you know, the higher senior executives and so forth is taking home too much. And then the union workers are not getting their step up increase. The workers are not getting their increase. It's just too much for the income or, you know, budget go paid in to those in the higher group there, the executives. And so if that could decrease, that would be a big help, but it still won't be enough, of course. It'll be like a drop in the bucket. It wouldn't be enough to really bring that cost down per kilowatt hour. We recognize that because we still have a lot of old pipes, many things that need to just be replaced, removed, thrown away It's an antiquated system in a lot of ways. They're trying their best to get new generators and do whatever, but you got to wonder, well, how long does that take? You know, how long does that take? Generators are made every day. Come on, you know. But then again, it's up to WAPA now to be able to pay the vendors and so forth and pay for these equipment and so forth. So that's also another problem. But again, a lot of they make enough money from the ratepayers, believe that. Okay. And not enough are off the grid to say that they don't make enough. All right. But case in point, they say they want more at this point because of fuel, the fuel costs and, the fuel shortage and everything else that goes with that. So now they're claiming they need more money again.
You think politics is playing out in all of this?
Yeah, because think about it. Fuel is the same cost everywhere, right? In the whole Caribbean, it's going to be fuel is fuel, right? Cost per barrel, whatever. But if you have an antiquated system now, the pipes, the machineries, the other stuff that wear it all, that go with all of the it's not just fuel alone, in other words. And so the plant itself is old, and in other Caribbean islands, their plant is newer or better maintained or whatever the case. And we have excellent linemen, excellent WAPA personnel. They know what they're doing with their hands and their eyes closed. They know what they're doing, but we just need after something, a Band-Aid is just a Band-Aid for so long, right? So you need the new components to make up for that loss in that power plant as soon as possible. And that's hindering businesses, yes, but yet you see so many thriving. Just on Friday, the governor opened up the territory to include and allow that we just bypass all curfews and the clubs open and close at regular time like they used to, and bars and so forth. So we're going to all see how that pans out. Will the people, behave themselves in a way that it doesn't matter with the COVID and so forth, and so that we don't have to shut down, or he doesn't have to limit the hours again. But that's what's happening since Friday, and businesses are happy for that. That's where I was going with that. Businesses are very happy for that. They're singing praises, and they're hoping to make the money that they couldn't make just a few months back even.
We have with us a very interesting woman. She's coming to us out of the territory of the U.S. Virgin Islands, and of course, with little said out of that territory. We have her here tonight to talk with us about exactly what is happening over there in that part of the world. Share this live. We'll be back with you in a minute as we continue to dig into some very factual information as to what is happening over there. Next door, the BVI, St. Thomas the Great territory. We come back to you in a minute.
You have been watching the latest development, and you seem to be very unsure of what to do next. You know something is about to happen, but again, you simply keep watching without a clue as to what to do next. Wake up, my brothers and sisters. You must move now to save yourselves. You must move now to prepare yourselves for the peril ahead. To delay is to open yourself to serious trouble, and there will be no one to blame but you. Lifeline Financial Programs has always been telling you that things will get very serious very quickly if you do not move now to prepare for what is coming. Nothing will get better. We are on a downhill ride. You must get up and move now to save yourself. It is predicted that you will be having serious financial problems soon. Will you sit and wait until everything has crashed then say, if I had known? Find us today at Lifeline Financial Programs. We have the best plans to keep you alive during the trying times ahead. Mark my word. You will remember every word I say. Don't wait until everything has fallen apart and you are running around like a chicken without a head. Find us at Lifeline Financial Programs today. We will help you find a way. Call us at 540-4555 or email us at lifelinebvlimited@gmail.com.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.
Let me say a very special welcome to you all. Thank you so much for joining us. And wherever you're watching us from, welcome to The Raw Truth. And of course, I have with us a very special guest. She's a coming to us straight out of the U.S. Virgin Islands, and of course, with little coming out of much any place in the Caribbean region. We continue to feature our brothers and sisters across the region. We have Miss Harriet Mercer with us, and of course, we met at some point, and of course, she is here to have a discussion with us in relation to what is happening in her neck of the woods. You mentioned a little earlier that the businesses are kind of getting a little happy because you have a restriction withdrawal. The lockdowns have ceased and all of that. Tell us a little about that. What is the climate like in St. Thomas in relation to lockdowns and all of this kind of crazy stuff? Go ahead, talk with us.
Yeah, for the most part, I've seen most people acknowledge it, abide by it, and so forth. They enjoy what they can, they go home and they make a good deal of it, right? And then only a few would look to even get with the task force. There's a task force for that to make sure that businesses close down the time they're supposed to. So for the most part, cooperation, okay, for the most part. And so they're just happy now that it's now free up and they can go back, like I said, to making some more money, like every other business should, you're in there for that reason,
Right.
So it's good. It's a good thing. We'll see what happens. It's still, of course, it's the same protocols, 6 feet away, but yes, you can dance, and yes, you can do things, but still with the mask, still with the 6 feet away protocol. Okay.
How has all of this affected the people in St. Thomas, the youngsters, children, all school, all of them? What's going on?
While we are resilient, we're also very adapting. So I didn't see children so much breaking this. Like I said, the task force, if it was a real issue, I'm supposed you'd be hearing all kind of thing out of the task force saying, look, but no, I didn't see that too much at all. So they've been cooperative. They've been cooperative. It's sad that the children are still at home, most of them anyway. Anywhere from our K-3 is in school in person, but then anyway from the fourth graders up, we go to 12th grade, and they're eager to get back to school as well. And a lot of parents and community leaders as well. We're just interested in getting them all back to school. I could give you a few headlines if you're interested. I was writing some down. Okay. I already went to it, the WAPA, okay, they're seeking another rate increase, but the GERS is still facing a looming insolvency. That's looming, so they're practicing to what to do for that. And the DHS, which is our Department of Health and Human Service, their Head Start teachers are now going to be forced to be vaxxed by January. They said it's because of something President Biden said or did. And you're hearing now that that's not even with real authority that he can do that. But nonetheless, that's a discussion for that. But DHS is the Head Start teachers. They want them to be vaxxed, and they're pushing back on that. Those teachers, the UBI students and faculty and staff, they were told that they must be vaxxed. So now that the university is down from like some 2,000 students, they're down to something like 400 or so, because the students they just weren't having it. Okay, I just learned today that the requested exemptions, of course, all along, people were asking for exemptions, whether medical, whether religious. They were summarily dismissed. Okay, they were not even given an answer. They were denied in most cases. Today, the nursing department, the dean of that department, and the staff, the faculty, they met. And when they met, they told the unvaccinated students that they must be vaxxed or they'll be unable to participate past December, because they had told them they can participate up until December and then they'll see what can come next. And now they were told today, well, that's it, December, and then that's it. Okay, you'll have to drop that program. And of course, that's sad because some of these students are going to be graduating or should be graduating next semester. All right. Vendors. We have a place called Vendors Plaza where the different tourists come from wherever, ships or hotels and so forth. Anyone to the island staying. We have a lot of Airbnbs, bed and breakfasts. So they would come and they would enjoy the Vendor Plaza. And that is in a pickle because they're being told that they can only work like half a month. Okay, 2 weeks here and 2 weeks for the other set. All right. So there's some pushback there. And they're trying to claim COVID, but every place else is like open. So of course, the vendors are upset with that and pushing back. And then, of course, you have here where there's a senator that's suffering with blood clots, okay, after being fully vaccinated. But that may not be at all related to the vaccine or anything like that. But we're praying and hoping for Senator Gittens and Senator Kenny Gittens that he will recover and have a testimony for this community. And former governor now is on the UBI Board of Trustees. People are concerned about that because this governor was known to had done some, scrupulous stuff, and they're concerned about that. We have here where the failed measure, former Board of Election member, and I'm on the Board of Election too, but a former Board of Election member who at the time, that talk was heavy, and then she began to sit on that board. It was a talk about this symbol voting, and now we find that she's ready to bring that back again as a bill, actually proposed a bill to bring that back. So people are kicking up on that. And then you have where the 6th Constitutional Convention, if you don't know, we've had 5 so far, and they've all failed so far in technically, but there's concern that this 6th constitutional one forging ahead, it's amidst the concerns that the 5th Constitutional Convention was not lawfully dissolved. Okay, and then there's the homeless. We still have a huge issue with that. The homeless and what we're going to do with them is a growing population. Parents are concerned and some are outraged by the sex offenders within our school systems. A big case is on right now, and parents want answers. Who knew what, and so forth. Because they don't want to see that this continues as a systemic thing with other teachers, other places in our school system. All right. And then, of course, you have where the population reduction. We had a census recently, every 10 years, and we now hear of a population reduction from 105,000 roughly on the 3 Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix, down to some 85,000. And that's although those numbers can be qualified. They cannot be qualified for a number of factors, to include the pandemic-related non-access to homes. There were many people not welcoming you to their homes and so forth. I know I did it. They came to the door. They would have you outside, or you would have them outside. Technically, you would be the one as a homeowner, and they would come and they would get the information. But there was a lot that didn't get done in that way because it was harder to get to these people for different reasons. Okay. And so we're not sure of that number being 85,000 because that's about 15 grand less, and we don't necessarily see that on the streets. The streets are still hustling and bustling. It's almost like Christmas right now in November. And I can't go on saying November 1st. I have to say shout out to my nephew Carlos, my son Jeremiah. They both made birthday today. So thanks, Kenny, for this opportunity. I want to shout them out before I go on any further. I'll be remiss if I don't do that. Okay?
That is fine.
Yes.
But quite interestingly, you remember that the university is down from 2,000 persons.
Well, no, they are of a population of about 2,000. They're down like some 1,600. So very few people are there in terms of students. Yeah. So very few people. They started even putting out a lot of ads and stuff like that. I don't hear the ads anymore. But certainly it was because of this controversy that came up. The students were asked, what is their opinion? They were asked back in like March or February, what is their opinion? If you were asked to be vaccinated, would you want that? So there was a survey, and that's great. The Board of Trustees put that on, and the university staff itself. And what happened is, overwhelmingly, the students said, no, we don't want to be forced. We want to do it on our own. If we want to do it, we don't want to. Because the school year before, they had done it whereby it was indeed voluntary, and all the protocols were in and followed, and nobody, had an issue with that. There were no great breakthroughs or fallouts or anything. So now that the vax came on scene, the jab, they said they don't want to take that, knowing the different fallouts and everything too, those different breakthrough cases where people became ill and so forth. So out of all that survey that they did, those students said no, and yet the board went ahead in August and July rather, and voted yes, we're going to institute this mandate. And so it caused a ruffle. There was a big old march and everything else, and a lot of movement on that, a lot of discussion. Some private establishments, employers starting to do the same thing too. So just like in Tortola, we had heard of a supermarket that did that, and then they took it back, and this back and forth, So we have similar to your place where I was hearing you all are giving $20, for people who take the vaccine for a plate of food or something. And we have here a vaccination lottery and, different enticements. But most people are not falling for it. And by rights, they have that choice until they see otherwise. So we try not to make a big deal about it. I personally don't even entertain the conversation anymore, but it is still very much going on, very much prevalent. And when you hear more and more people, like even the Head Start teachers and even other teachers in schools and so forth, yes, it's becoming a concern. And even with our children, with the 5-year-olds, with what came out of the United States. So if FDA voted some 17 people to 0 that yes, they want the 5-year-olds to take that vaccination or that jab. 5 to 11-year-olds, that's a big concern right now for the parents here, because they understand fully well that that could trickle down right
No,
here.
but madam, this is not just about parents. There's about parents everywhere. For all the information that we have coming out of all the right places, how in the hell could anyone settle for anything so absolutely crazy?
Well, that's the thing. We're saying 17 to 0. So we begin to realize the crazy people are not on the streets. They're in the suit and the ties and sitting at the desk and making these decisions. They're not on the streets. We started to look now at crazy people, if you will, and I use the term loosely, in a different light. And it seems like, no, they're the ones at those decisions, behind those decisions.
I'm absolutely flabbergasted by this, because when the day is done, my God, come on. I thought I thought sensible people were the ones in politics, the ones in high offices, the ones who are looking after the people's affairs. I didn't know you're crazy people. It seemed to me that all the people who are supposed to be sane, taking care of the people's business in government and wherever else, are now become the biggest bunch of jokers, clowns all over the world. What the hell is going on?
But they obviously know what they're doing, because they themselves, as you know, many people in the federal government and Congress and so forth are not obligated to take the same thing that they're mandating to others. So
Precisely.
It's all out of order. It's all out of order. And like I told you when you called me, I said, all I know is law and order. All I know, this book right here is a treasured book of mine that I had from the time I've been in university, right? Well, it was a college then. I went to Bethune-Cookman. And this book right here is like my Bible. It's American Constitutional Law. And that was one of the courses I had to take. I hold a degree in political science. And I thought I would go on to law school. And I did apply. And then I ended up thinking corporate law. And then I just loved entrepreneurship. So I started to get into that instead. But I did work at the court for like 3.5 years. And I was under great tutelage. So I know much of the mess that's going on. When I tell you it's a mess, because I know based on who I was tutored by, even in the court. And I'm not talking about the clerks, I'm talking about judges and attorneys to the court and so forth, the attorney to the court, the legal counsel and so forth. So under great tutelage, I learned and I gleaned and I looked and I paired and I saw, so this book, another great book, the Virgin Islands here, American Virgin Islands, great read for people trying to really know about our territory and so forth when we were bought from the Danes and so forth. The Danes packed us with a lot of rights, and we are not so quick to give those rights up. Now me, by right, somebody had to inform me, Miss Mercer, you're not really a Virgin Islander because your parents weren't born here. And I said, my gosh, that hit me like a little hard brick, but if it's the case, it's the case. Based on their law, their interpretation of the Revised Organic Act. And
I love how you put it, based on their law. Because from one thing I could tell you straight, we're all part of the Americas, regardless of where in hell in the Caribbean or wherever else we are. One land, one people. So these idiots allowing themselves to become puppets to the corporation. Disgraceful.
But you see how they separated us was what they wrote in books. That's just by the words, and that's how they get us every time. My whole thing right now is just about community. I just love the communities I'm in. Wherever I am, I always try to make it better for the children, the families, and so forth. That conglomerate of joy that we can find. I don't care if it's as quote unquote a ghetto, or as we would more practically say, a public housing. Those persons in those places they have so much opportunities to really make their area so much better, not just for cleaning it up, but getting together and loving on each other. The cookouts that we used to do, now that we have all kind of lifting of restrictions, you do those, you follow those, you have the cookouts. This neighborhood, not neighborhood, but apartment, you bring a dish, another one bring a dish, another one bring a dish, and you get together on it once a week. There's so many opportunities that I'm seeing. And as parents, and I told you, I co-founded a group named Parents Matter, Family Support Group. And that was out of the love of the children, because they were being fed wrong. Okay, the school lunch program had gone crazy. They started to import foods that even the birds, we tested it, the birds and the dogs, and they wouldn't eat it.
Not eating it. There you go.
They wouldn't eat it.
Tell me something. Because now that I'm thinking about what you're
Mhm,
saying and the fact that you are into law, let me ask you this question.
mhm,
There is color of law,
mhm.
and there is that which is lawful.
Yeah, I
There,
think the.
hold on,
Mhm,
because our people have been thwarted to think that anything government tells them
mhm.
to do is
Yeah.
is if I should shift it a little, is lawful.
Mhm.
What our people are not understanding is that there's a
Mhm.
hell of a difference between legalism
Mhm.
and lawfulness.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Now, for what you have been seeing as
Mhm.
one exposed to law,
Mhm.
do you think the rights of the people, not only in St. Thomas but wherever else in the world they are, is being
Mhm.
abrogated at this time?
Of course. Of course. You have human rights that should never be touched. That in itself is being abrogated. And then you have um, people will tell you something and you know for sure it's not right. It's almost like a parent telling a child, go in the store and because they're small and they can probably not be as easily detected, go in that store and steal this or steal that, or they wouldn't use the word steal perhaps to the child, but you get the point. It's almost like the child doing, there's somebody setting you up to do something wrong that they themselves know is wrong and they won't do it. Okay. So with this color of law, you're quick to think, okay, that's a police officer. Cut the jacket, the tie, the suit, the outfit, the uniform. The color of law is where you believe that, yes, the officer is saying the right thing. When you then look at the law, then you find that it's not the right thing. And even when you look at the law, you might find that that's not the right thing. And so then you may have to go back to who created the law. Okay. Which of course is the legislature, the Senate, and so forth. And I think most people have their heads on enough to know that something is not being right. For example, wherever there's high crime, there are some people that are quick to say, give up your rights, waive your rights, allow the police to stop you wherever you are, traveling on the road, going your happy, lucky way. You might even be in a rush to wherever, catch a plane somewhere, okay? Catch a flight and or whatever, meet somebody. It's an urgency. And they would still say, give up your rights, let the police stop you because there's so much crime and you need to let them search you, stop and search you. No, 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 no. It sounds nice. It sounds theoretical. It sounds happy. It sounds like we're one happy community. But no, you don't give up your rights when you're not the one guilty of something. You just don't. And so the same thing with, I guess, with the vaccine and everything else. You don't give up your right and say, okay, stick me, although I don't believe I should have this. I myself have underlying conditions, so I could prove that, but and use that, but others can't. But they should still always have their rights to say, that's my body, my choice. So when you give up your rights now to say, well, okay, go ahead and stop and search me, lo and behold, they're stopping and searching and they're doing it randomly. And even if they do it by everybody, you imagine they're stopping you from getting to your emergency location. So it turns out that it's not a good thing. In other words, you would miss whatever it is you were going to get by the time you get to wherever it's already gone. The plane is left. So I'm just giving that as one example where it's not, although it sounds color of law and it sounds bright and it sounds nice, it's just not of any, all of law is supposed to be with logic and reasoning. Reasoning and mostly logic, but a lot of reasoning.
Let
Okay?
me let me ask you this,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm speaking with you as one exposed to the law this evening.
Mm-hmm.
We keep hearing about mandates.
Yeah.
Everybody talking about mandates. Oh, it's mandated, and who has to get it, and who has to get it, and who has to get what, and all the garbage you hear about.
Yeah.
Who has to do what?
Mm-hmm.
All my life, I've learned and still maintain that anything that goes against the right of a human being is illegal.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
All my life, I we've been taught that anything that violates our constitutional right is criminal.
Mm-hmm.
All my life, listen to me well, all my life, we keep
Mm-hmm.
hearing that if it could be government, it could be police, it could be whoever else in hell they are. As long as someone violates your right, you reserve the right to take them to court, sue them for that violation, and walk out with your right intact.
Yes. Yes.
What has happened to us, madam?
Oh, I think you said it earlier. I mean, we become to be
What a guan? Tell me what a guan. What a guan?
like you said. You said that you believe that they've come to just accept the rule of law, whatever that rule of law is. They don't like it, and they don't even sometimes kick up against it in terms of getting it changed. It's written. They have it. They see that it's written, and they don't even kick up against it and say, you know what, we need that. We demand that to be changed right now, today, or not even today. You know, it takes a while. It's a process, but you get my point. We need that to have attention right now on the next calendar, the next meeting, the next hearing, the next whatever. So you don't have that. You have people bashing it and talking about it, and they know it's wrong, but they don't go after it to me to the next step. There were more people, I believe, in the past doing a lot more footwork, if you will, to get things through. I know a lot of old movies and stuff where you see people going to Congress and everything else. You know what I mean? And not just movies, but documentaries, going to Congress and everything else to get their rights. You know, you think of women's suffrage, you think of, you know, civil rights movement, you think, and so we have lost that. I think we believe that all of those rights that they got, we still have, and they're not ever being tampered with. When we well know that they are, but we put our hands over our eye and hope that, okay, we don't see that. We just want to get on to the next day, you know? And so I don't think it's the right thing to give up if you know that something is getting you away from your opportunity to live that of liberty and peace and happiness and all that good stuff. I don't think you should stop until you can get that, especially for the next generation. If you can think, you know, just not just about yourself, but the next set of people. I know people who say, well, that doesn't affect me and my children. My children big now, you know. But you got to still think of the continuance. They'll have children. Your big children will have children, you know. So I think it's right to just push on. And you know, you notice everybody as they're born, and when we forget about things, a new generation, the next generation comes along and they say, we're not going like this, you know, and they start fighting and they become the next legislators and the next, you know, policy changers. So that's a good thing too as well. So I don't think it's all for loss, because along the line, as long as those children can read and think, and that's why we're against a lot of the stuff that you're going to be trying to inject in people's body, because if this has, as science would prove, the opportunity to alter anything in our bodies, and even the foods we eat, as they would say, people would tell us that these foods are not as healthy and nutritious. And I know nutrition sparks your mind to, if you eat the right thing. I know what happens, and we all know what happens if you eat a bowl of ice cream versus you eat a nice bowl of greens. Come on, you're more up, you know, the ice cream is so have you lethargic and foggy brain and so forth. And so we know what it is. But nutrition is key to knowledge. It's really the key.
There is a degree of fear.
Mm-hmm.
There is a serious degree of fear.
Uh-huh.
Fear. People are literally getting to the place where they're afraid of themselves these days. I'm not sure when we have become so afraid. What do you think is creating this fear? Talk with us.
I think disunity is one of the things that causes that. If you are always by yourself and you ain't trying to group with nobody else, look for like minds. Even if your fear is one that makes you scared, okay, look for the next person who's scared too. And then the two of you try to come up with ideas to get out of that. But if you stay by yourself, your little scared self, what is that going to help you? You're only going to go further and further to the left and be more and more scared. So it's better that you get with people, even if they're scared, even if they're not scared. You better unify and get with others. And if unity is a bad word, or, you know, it's like almost like nobody wants to hear it, then whatever other, you know, synonym you want to use, you know, but you're going to be scared if you're by yourself. Come on. If you go in a dark forest or whatever, and you're with even one person, even a child, and you're holding their hand, you watch the degree of fear goes down. You be by yourself, it's evident. It's just up high. So
do you think ignorance is the root cause of the fear, or maybe people knowingly choose to back off because, of course, we know the level of coercion is high. Of course, we know that there can be victimization in some cases, and all these issues. But is it for lack of knowledge or out of ignorance? What are you saying?
Oh, out of what?
Ignorance. Yeah, ignorance.
Well,
If-
ignorance is the lack of knowledge, right?
well,
The lack
well,
of knowledge.
yes.
So if you don't know something, naturally, you won't know how to approach it. But if somebody comes along and tells you, okay, this is what this means, this is what you must do, or this is what has been done and worked, and you still don't want to at least try it, that is a deep fear. You know, it's one thing to be ignorant and don't have anybody showing you the right road or a road that could be tried. Could be tried. And though it might work for some people, you know that little inch of a difference can make a lot of difference in the outcome of anything. If you go too much with anything or too little with anything, if you don't hit it right on, you can miss the whatever, but at least you have a fighting chance to get it together the next time. Like the man who, you know, took so many, 99 times to get something wrong, and then at 100 times he got it right with the light bulb. So it's the same thing. So you have to just overcome the fear. I remember being fearful, and somebody told me, it was my son, my oldest son, he said, if you got to use a jackhammer, use it. If you don't have windows, use the jackhammer and pound it on the ground. Get the ground cracked open. If you don't have windows, you know. So my point is, sometimes you need people to just say those things and give you a boost. And if they say that, and if you still don't have a boost or something goes off in thinking in your mind, then Kenny, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say at that point. I tell people, I hold your hand anywhere you wanna. If you're going the wrong direction, I'm pulling you. I'm pulling you, and holding your hand tight. I know you're holding mine tight, but the minute I feel you pulling me, I gotta let you go. I gotta let your hand go. It's unfortunate, but if I know the right way and you don't want to believe that it's the right way, what am I to do? Just let you take me the wrong way? No, that's not gonna work. So I hope that people can get over the fear. I hope that somebody watching whatever, you can break and shatter the fear. There's so many things out there on the net and so forth. You can now today that we're more technologically advanced, and even if you know technology advanced, you can use the libraries and so forth, those places that do have libraries. You can find what you need to find. This world is big and only coming up in more and more things, and so you can find the knowledge and you can find the way out of whatever fear you have. I believe that. And I even heard, even if your body is ill and so forth, and you're scared to die, whatever, you can speak to that body. But again, it's how deep you want to believe. It's how deep you want to go and really think that your mind is, like I said, is the most powerful tool of the body. So use it. Use it. And don't let anybody else abuse it, and make you think like, oh, you're not, I could give you an example, but somebody just today told me the same thing. They said, how could a agriculture program invite, which is all with organic stuff now, that's all they practice, that's all they preach, organic stuff. How could they link in and allow or invite or go along with or condone or tolerate, whatever word you want to use, some people coming in to offer the inorganic vaccine? Pick your choice of the 3 different types. Here we are. We're ready to jab you at an organic fair event. Didn't make sense to us, So my point is, we have a lot of mix up stuff in this thing, but that's all mixed up. Rules and attitudes won't work, So we have to get on this straight path. It's either going to make sense or not sense. And like somebody told me, if you don't understand something, half the time it's because, more than half the times, it's just nothing to understand. It's that simple. There's nothing to understand. It's just hogwash. It's just conundrum. It's just foolishness.
Wow. We have Harriet Mercer with us, and of course, goodness gracious, a very experienced woman. She knows exactly what is happening in her neck of the woods. And when the day is over, the question is, are people afraid because of ignorance, or are they afraid in an attempt to avoid exploitation? We come back in a minute, and when we come back, we're going to dig deeper into what is happening over there in St. Thomas, in the U.S. Virgin Islands. We come back in a moment.
You have been watching the latest development, and you seem to be very unsure of what to do next. You know something is about to happen, but again, you simply keep watching without a clue as to what to do next. Wake up, my brothers and sisters. You must move now to save yourselves. You must move now to prepare yourselves for the peril ahead. To delay is to open yourself to serious trouble, and there will be no one to blame but you. Lifeline Financial Programs has always been telling you that things will get very serious very quickly if you do not move now to prepare for what is coming. Nothing will get better. We are on a downhill ride. You must get up and move now to save yourself. It is predicted that you will be having serious financial problems soon. Will you sit and wait until everything has crashed then say, "If I had known"? Find us today at Lifeline Financial Programs. We have the best plans to keep you alive during the trying times ahead. Mark my word. You will remember every word I say. Don't wait until everything has fallen apart and you are running around like a chicken without a head. Find us at Lifeline Financial Programs today. We will help you find a way. Call us at 540-4555 or email us at lifelinebvlimited@gmail.com.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.
Welcome back, and you are right here with us on The Raw Truth on PSI TV. And of course, when the day is over, we continue to bring you the best of the information from across the Caribbean region and the rest of the world. We're currently on a series called Caribbean Madness. Of course, we're linking with the Caribbean region, Caribbean Link Up. And of course, we feature the happening is in all the countries across the Caribbean region, across Central America. That's where we are, yes? And of course, this week we have online Miss Harriet Mercer. She's one who has done quite a bit in law. And of course, she is a member of the local board of elections in the Virgin Islands and is very involved in education, labor law, constitutional law, and the rest of the works. And of course, we're having quite a very interesting discussion in relation to what is happening over there in the Virgin Islands. And of course, if you're just joining us, please share the live with your friends, because this, especially if you're in St. Thomas, this will become something that you will need to revisit in relation to what is happening over there in your country. Let me bring her back in, because when the day is over, I think it is quite interesting that we take another look at what has been happening with the in relation to the current state of affair in that country. Are people prevented from traveling in? Are people having a serious time dealing with the current update in relation to this jab? How will this affect the economy moving forward? How will the macroeconomic sector be affected by all of this madness? And what will happen in the short run if people are having a problem in the USA to find food? What is going to be happening in the US Virgin Islands in relation to the same? Let's talk about the fact that you don't do a lot of farming over there. Food is very short in the US Virgin Islands. What might you see happening in the nearest future? Let's look at that for a few minutes. What are you seeing?
As far as food, you said?
Yes, because right now food in most places in the United States, many supermarket shelves are empty. What is happening over there?
Honestly, I don't see it possible. I think we have too much Virgin Islanders, or even loosely I'll say down islanders, people with that know-how to actually do agriculture and farming. I don't see how we'll ever be in that predicament where we won't dig in the soil and get what we need. I don't think we'll be scraping and saying, America, send the ships, send the food. We already complain so much about the food that does come, whether they're, especially the produce and so forth, force ripe and so forth, and we getting it and then they're spoiling so quickly. So believe me, necessity is what's going to make us. All right. I have seen guava in St. Croix as large as my fist, okay, the palm, and they're sweeter than anything else you'd get. So we have that capability still that has not been lost. St. Croix is a place that's fighting tooth and nail against any kind of refinery continuing in their land because they don't want to get those grounds more and more contaminated, okay, with oil spills or whatever have you, or even the air quality, messed up. So they really don't want to see another refinery, all right? Industry-wise, maybe I know for sure it'd be great if we could start canning our natural fruits and vegetables that grow on these trees, canning and exporting, or even just using them locally if we can't have enough, volume. But certainly, I think it's a great opportunity. I've seen children in the schools just digging in the dirt and so happy to see their things bloom and to, produce the foods to eat and flowers as well. They're delighted. And so I know it's a myth when people say, oh, the children don't want to do that, or all the old farmers are going and they're going to have any more. No, children are interested. I see the young men driving the big trucks, just like on Tortola. You see the young men doing some big, heavy duty, things. And I see them being able to do the same thing over here when it comes to planting and stuff. I know there's certain children won't be interested in that. I'm not a green thumb myself, but I know how to reap that harvest and prepare it and cook it and keep us healthy and going. All right. So, we need to get the children back into the farming, back into the kitchen, because we got to prepare for what's coming. It's going to be a time when indeed I know there's a shipping company we have, I understand they'll be giving up operations soon, which is Tropical. And so we have Crowley and others. Okay. So if Crowley, yeah. So say you don't have enough of a shipping company to bring things in, that could be an issue. We're going to be forced to get in the ground. Yeah. That's what I see.
That's a serious point you're making right there just now. Wow.
Yeah.
And if one ceases to function, then others over time will cease to function.
Well, no, because they'll be probably glad that hey, they got a monopoly on this. So I don't think they'll all cease to function. All right, we're still going to need the cars. We're still going to need all kind of stuff they're bringing in.
But look at this. But if out in the Atlantic Ocean, my beloved sister, you have a whole lot of ships pile up in the waters right now. Can't get into the ports in the US and stuff. Then what is going to happen down here in St. Thomas? Or even in the BVI or even the Caribbean region? What's going to happen?
If you think that we Virgin Islanders going to stop and wait to eat, you lie. We're going to find food somewhere. It's going to have trees without leaves before anything of such a catastrophe happen, because we're going to find it. We're going to find it. That's the kind of people we are. We pick and we find where you drive around the island, there's a lot of stuff that you can make. Even, sometimes it could just be as simple as a cup of tea. We don't have to eat as heavy as we eat, Right. We don't need as much.
Right.
People think the human body needs so much in it. You don't need to pack up stuff in there like it's a dump.
Yes.
And you can be quite content and quite focused.
But a lot of people going dead for hungry because we used to the big plate of food and all that kind of thing right now when it is done.
I think that became where we just maybe started, try to get up with the Joneses. Yes. You know what I mean? You want the lobster and this and that on your plate. One or two starches, okay. One starch, one vegetable, one meat. If you need any meat, I've eaten foods before where there was no meat and I feel just as satisfied. Like one lady served me carrots and eggs for dinner. Sounds strange, I know, but protein, vegetable, whatever, and it was quite interesting. Yes.
Yes.
So.
And that's a very important point, because we have to get to the place where we now start to recondition our minds, recondition ourselves to what is coming. Do you think most of us are taking it seriously?
Are we doing what?
Are we taking it seriously that we're actually in a shift?
I think we're being forced to. Okay, we're not naturally taking it seriously, but we see what's going on. We're hearing it every day. We know of the food shortage coming, and we understand. And I think the great test will be maybe like Christmas time. You're going to see the less ham and the less this and the less that. And I think you're going to be forced to take it seriously. That's what I believe. But we're not open, we're never always open to change, but I think we have been an adapting people. So when the change does come, we just flick and we just do what we have to do in whatever other direction we have to do, because the elders know they can do the tree stone, the fire with the coal pot, and so the oven bread and so forth. They're ready to pull out.
But a lot of, madam, you're touching some, listen, half are we going to get me hungry,
Oh,
Because
okay then.
what you are talking about might be commonplace knowledge for you as an experienced adult who know what it means to put 3 stone and put a pot on it, get some wood and
Listen,
make up fire and cook.
if you're
Half.
waiting on me, if you were waiting on me, you won't get that food because I don't know how to do it. But I'm
Uh-oh.
quick to want to learn and I can pick it up easy. I remember my uncle passed and he was supposed to teach me how to do corn poke.
Uh-huh.
Which at least I could learn how to corn, the stuff, from, going to putting the salt on it and all that.
Right.
Because I love that dish of yours over there, the corn poke and the dumpling and so forth.
Ah.
But I wouldn't know how to corn, and he told me it's so easy, and I didn't get to learn it. So I regret that, but I hope I can get to know how to do that.
It
Because
is
then
important. It is very important because you're talking about the indigenous way of life.
exactly.
We have lost it. Absolutely,
Yeah.
totally lost it. And when the day is done, we're happy that a few people are still into the indigenous lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yes, people across the Americas.
Mhm.
We still have the Aborigine people, which are still very entrenched in the ways of the indigenous, still entrenched in the indigenous way of life.
Exactly.
But most of us, I see Hurricane Irma pass out the last time, and when the day is done, people lock up in the house, I'm hungry.
Oh, yeah,
Wood,
yeah.
wood outside, they can't make up fire because they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to cook.
Listen. Which hurricane we had? We had Marilyn, and I understand people were running after those MREs, which is the meal ready to eat. And it came in a pouch and you just had it up.
Yes.
The most awful taste. And people were still running for that. But I guess there was a shortage still of the foods and they didn't want to do the indigenous at that time. I guess they figure help will come quick.
Right.
But when you see help langing up, and stay out, then you have to do something else, But no, we have to make the changes and it's just that simple. But we have to start teaching it from now.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
And that is a very important point you're raising, because I think when we speak about indigenous people, when you speak about Aborigine people wonder who the hell you're talking about. What they don't have a clue what we're referring to. And that we have to get to the place where we adopt that lifestyle ASAP if we're going to save ourselves. It's that serious, It's that serious. We have to go back. We have to go back on the land and start hunt goat and hunt pig and hunt rabbit and hunt all of them things again. We'll get back there.
We have the technology here. It might have to take a few Zoom meetings and so forth and explain and to have graphs or to have pictures or something. You can't just talk it. You have to be able to show it somehow, whether you're outside and you're showing it from your outside, but it's something you're going to have to do with this technology and just show the people what it is and how easy it is. Because I know people think it's very hard. I know for sure for me, some things do sound hard. But I know once you begin, at least even if you do the part that you're good at, okay? If you just are good to pick the things and to dig it up and to, some people are better at planting than to anything else. Right. And they just want to plant. Well, fine, I'll just reap, and I'll help prepare it, So we all just have to pitch in, that's all. Community by community by community. Make it simple. And I think one of the quickest thing we can ever do is get into canning. Okay, yes. Canning. Even if you never catch fish one day, because you could go out catching fish all the time and don't catch a thing on your hook. But that tree is going to produce a fruit in its season. So you get it in a season and you preserve it. I think canning is one of the simplest thing, quickest thing we can do for a quick, if you will, change right away. Canning.
And that is also a very important point. It came to my mind while you speak. You're talking about dehumidifiers, those machines that actually dry out fruits, dry out meat, dry out the food. You could use get some dehumidifiers. The dehydrators. That's the word.
Yes.
And you could dry out your foods, whatever else, and store them in Ziploc bags. And,
Exactly.
These are some of the things we really need to look at as an indigenous way of survival. We have to get to that place where if you don't have sun, you have to find some way to do it and do it now before you get to that place.
But remember, you have to still take care of your oral hygiene now. You're going to have strong teeth to deal with those dried out stuff.
There you go.
Because if you don't, then you have to eat the soft banana. You can't have the hard banana that's dried out. No. So you got to take care of yourself. That's what I think the bottom line is here. I think the pandemic has at least allowed us that time to introspect into ourselves and see how we can bring our families back to cooking together, eating well, and so forth. Because a lot of times the fast foods were getting worse and worse. in their taste, in their everything, you know?
Indeed,
So,
indeed. It's all chemicals, if you ask me.
yeah, there's some of them, taste like cardboard. Let's be honest.
I
You know,
saw it, and this is very serious. Someone went to a restaurant the other day. I saw the video, and the woman got it looked like chicken,
hmm
but the unscrupulous bastards got hand towel, it seemed, wrapped it into a whatever else, dipped it in the seasoning, whatever they did with it,
no, no, no.
fried it. When you saw that thing on the plate, it was as real as a piece of fowl. When the woman took it up, she tried to cut this thing. She realized it's not cutting. She took it out. The paper just started rolling out.
Wow.
The point I'm trying to make, you don't
Wow.
know what you're eating in some of these places.
hmm
And unless you're able to do it yourself, you're going to have a serious problem. This is where we're at. People are doing anything to make money right now. They will sell you crap to make money. We have
Yeah.
to learn to do these things ourselves. That's how serious this gets.
I would recommend to anybody, if you go somewhere and eat, I don't care where it is. It could be a neighbor's house. Doesn't matter. Could be a commercial place. If you go somewhere to eat or drink, but eat especially, and it does not taste good, either be honest to them and tell them, look, this isn't right, but make sure you don't go back there and just like keep on going back or whatever. You don't, in other words, don't participate or support that business. I'm saying it right out. Don't even support that business. Let them understand that we don't eat so here, okay? We don't yam
But
that kind of thing here.
but look here,
Something
my dear
bland,
sister.
no taste.
But look here. Worst, I saw it with my two eyes. I went into this restaurant because it's a place I would eat once in a while.
Mhm.
I walked in and I saw the woman taking the whole set of food out of the refrigerator.
Uh-huh.
The chicken, the beef, the pork, the mutton, all the things that you would have on your plate as a hot, ready meal was coming off the fridge, which in my mind is still food. Putting it back in the heater to heat it up to sell
Oh,
it.
okay then. Okay then.
From that
Okay
day
then.
until today, I never go back in that restaurant. Never went back in there.
But listen, the old people would tell you sometimes stale food tastes better, than fresh food. All right. I have done something with garlic and so forth, and by the time you check it a week later, it's still fresh like it just make. But when you're doing for commercial sales, I don't think it's right to do that to people.
You're free in your house to do what you want to do. You must know what you want. But if I'm gonna
Exactly.
buy me a plate of food,
Exactly.
I ain't gonna want no stale food off on nobody fridge. What kind of foolishness is that?
Exactly. Especially when you don't know if the fridge is keeping it well and so forth.
Precisely the
You don't
point.
know that. Yeah.
So it goes back to the place where we have to learn, and it's very interesting that you raised that point. We have to
Mhm.
find a way to maintain however we're gonna do it at home. At least when you do it, it's done properly. We have to find a way to maintain that. And
Exactly.
I think moving forward, if the containers stop coming, and we can't find all the food on the shelves as we need them, and all of
Yes.
those kind of things, we have to get back to our indigenous roots. It becomes a critical matter.
Yeah.
We have with us Miss and I perhaps need to just throw this in right here that for those of you who might have uh, uh, legal problems, because we have quite a bit of um, a few of our people who are into law, not necessarily legalism, because there is a difference between legalism and what is lawful. And it is very good that we have some open-minded law persons, people who are engaged in law, who are very versatile in these matters. And for those of us who might need to acquire support, lawful support, go to my inbox, drop me a note, because when the day is done, we can always find a way to open to you lawful support moving forward. There are many such people around us who are willing to help. And I'm sure if you just send the word, you will be able to get help. Don't sit back and watch people exploiting you and your offspring and whatever else, and you don't take a serious position. Stand like a mad bull to protect yourself, and your unalienable rights is yours. And if you don't stand to protect yourself, nobody ain't going to protect you. This is what it is. So we have to protect ourselves moving forward. We have with us Miss Harriet Mercer, and of course, it's quite an interesting presentation. And as we take it down to the wire, I think she probably has some very interesting words she might want to share with us as she brings the program to a close. I'm not sure exactly what might be on your mind, Miss Mercer. Anything else you want to share with our viewers this evening?
Well, first of all, Kenny, I'm very gracious to you. I know the 2 hours fly by so fast. I told you I'm a very candid person, and I didn't want to be with a bunch of notes and paper and all that, because then it gets all over. But I am so impressed with Tortola in terms of at least being, at least as I understand, y'all ain't allowing a bunch of crazy kind of businesses over there with no fast food and things like that. They got to be real food, real cooked and so forth, so that people would come here for the KFC or the Burger King or the Wendy's and so forth. But I understand Tortola ain't allowing that kind of stuff. And I found that interesting because here in America anyway, I mean, on the US flag, we under the impression that any business could come here. As long as you get a license, that's it. It's interesting because then in your neck of the woods, you turn it around and say, no, we don't allow certain things. And I find that interesting. It must be maybe part of your constitution or whatever it is. Back to rights again, back to what the people of that place want and demanded and got. And I tell the people the same thing. Hey, you can want, demand, and get. All right? But you can't just do it from a standpoint of just talking, blah, 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 blah. You have to make it happen. And so, yes, we're going with this constitution and pushing, and that's great, but we want to definitely make sure that our culture, like you say, is respected. Because what a sense of coming here if everything looks the same as back where you came from? It doesn't make any sense. We have to have some uniqueness, And manners, I think, is one of the things that identifies a Virgin Islander, or even anyone from the Caribbean. We're very mannerable people. It's good morning, good night, good afternoon. It's that kind of stuff. We teach our children to do the same. Some of them falling away from it, but we still teach them to do that. And I love when I still see the children saying, hi, I sent you a clip earlier and I was asking to show a little bit of that. But these children are through one of our oldest neighborhoods, Savannah, and they went down through the streets from their school. And their school is open person to person, Janie Twit School, and had a wonderful time, going through the streets and chanting drug-free. We are drug-free, and, that's what we want to be, and so forth. And they made an impact even in the people in that community, neighbors, how, businesses, whatever. Our children. Okay, is what I want to say. And then even law, on the topic of law is not hard at all. It comes to your mind in terms of, look, that don't sound right, that's negative, that's whatever. Think of it as in any relationship. A guy come to you, woman come to you, and what they're pushing isn't something you are interested in, or, maybe they're lying, so whatever you feel. I'm just talking about the instinct that you get. So you check it out. You don't immediately blame or come to a judgment and so forth, but you check it out. A lot of time I think we go around by not checking it out. We just come to full conclusion. But check it out. If it sounds strange to you, check it out. I've heard enough too many times when lawyers say one thing, and then you check it in the law book, is a whole nother thing. All right? A whole nother thing. Okay? And then they will tell you, you're not a lawyer, you're just a layperson, and you can't interpret that. I say, but wait, the two, I don't go in court and be tangling it out too? And I's lawyer too? All right? So which one is a layperson? Okay? So I say that to say that not all lawyers, they all maybe mean well, but one side got to win and one side got to lose. So I'll leave you with this joke quickly, where a man said, hey, he actually stole somebody's animal, a cow, and the cow, they couldn't find it. And he needed a lawyer. So he got one that came out of law school, fresh out of law school. And he said, I'm going to look for these fresh one because they want to make a name for themselves. He got the one out of law school freshly, and he came out and he won the case and said, no, the man did not steal the cow. When it was all done, the plaintiff, was upset that they lose, of course. But nonetheless, the defendant now went around and tell his lawyer, how much I got to pay you, man? And he said, no, you don't take care of the bill. Don't worry, no, I got to give you more. I got to give you more. He said, why you got to give you more? He said, because you handled that case so well, even I thought I didn't steal the cow.
Tell me something.
So there's so much People are trying to convince us every day of something, but if it sounds weird, sounds strange, and somehow that lawyer's like I say, fresh on the scene, he still wet behind the ears, and he didn't catch on to certain things that he should have, or ask certain things. And so sometimes we don't ask enough things. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of time here, even in the Virgin Islands, we ask stuff. Maybe they're in Tortola to you, ask stuff of the persons in power, if you will, or whatever, right? And you get no answers. So then what are the people supposed to do? They ask an intelligent questions, or even if not, they, nothing is a dumb question, right? As they would tell us. You ask a question, still no answer, still no way to get your foot forward. That's a problem.
This is one of the real questions I want to ask. And my apology for butting in on you like this. But
No.
I need to get this in here. Do you think the legal systems still work?
Of course not. No, they're stacked up against the person. As a matter of fact, if they don't want to hear your case, they just close the book. They just leave it there sitting on the desk because they know your case have points and merit, and they don't even want to hear it. So no, the legal system, that lady that said, well, is she blind and she on a scale and balance? So the scale has been, something is wrong. Something is wrong because sometimes they don't. Our nurses, for example, were told they have to take the vaccination. And if they don't take it, they'll be fired by September. Well, in August, they put in a case, a TRO, right? Restraining order. You know, the judge didn't get them a hearing up to now?
You're serious?
And they've been fired? Those that didn't get a waiver or exemption? Good nurses, good, but I told them already, use that as an opportunity, open your own practice, do whatever you take, but you got to survive, you got to eat. But my point is that even with a TRO, how are you going to fire somebody when a case is in court? When it's pending? That's not how the legal system's supposed to work. So when you just ask me that question, I have to tell you, no, it's not working. So we put these governors in place. The governors appoint or, fix these judges to be. They get confirmed by the Senate. And then we run into these things, these deadbeat situations. So like I say, the crazy people are not on the streets.
So what does that leave us, the people, with? Where do we go now for practical, trustworthy, lawful remedies if the court system is a pile of junk? Where do we go?
You see, that is why you'll have some people take things in their own hand, which is never the right thing to do, because then you get further in trouble, right? But and you can't just leave it alone either. So I'm still at I don't know, I'm still at a fault, and I'm hoping someone maybe commenting would say where they think we should handle something like that. Of course, public opinion would help, okay? Make us think about it, write up stories and so forth, go to the media outside and so forth, and bring media attention and bring pressure from the community on it so that perhaps your case, your situation can get addressed. You need to bring people to your side. Because I think that's when then the judge will say, no, I have to pick up this case. Otherwise, I might not be reconfirmed, or they may know for sure that if I do get reconfirmed, that those senators had to been blocking their ears from all the outcry of what I hadn't done while I was sitting on the bench and didn't pick up so much cases and didn't get them moving. And now we're going to be reconfirmed?
Can
but
judges...
don't say anything. How are we going to know? How are we going to know how the judge was performing? How are you going to know?
Can judges be removed from the bench?
I suppose there's ways for that. I mean, you have a term and so forth, but I suppose there's ways to remove for cause. You go through the bar and everything else, and you get them debarred, dethroned. I'm nothing should be in concrete, is my point. Nothing. You can't be so unethical on a bench and then you just stay there. No, you're ruling all kind of crazy ways and you stay there. No, something will be very wrong with that. And if it can't be done, that should be removed that way. Of course, for the next set of judge, you'll have to demand that some laws be changed. Again, that takes the people going to senators and so forth and getting that ball rolling. I don't like to know that anything is in stone. Okay? Except my unalienable rights.
I need to bring in Ida on this one, because you women are I have a hell of a lot of respect for you women, and Ida is another one that I think I need to hook with her soon so we can get to the bottom of some of this crap. Because you watch what is happening in the system and you wonder, is it working? What is going on here?
If it's not working, it's because the people aren't talking up enough. Okay? These people are still, I'm still the employer, right? I mean employee of the people, right? The constituents. I'm still the employee. So I listen. I listen to what they want. I bring motions to the floor to reflect what they're saying and asking, not what I'm thinking in my head. I know of a senator that once said, oh, the people don't know what they want. So we're going to come up with what we think they need. The people are telling you,
Ah.
and the people are telling you every day what they want, you know. If you, I know you're listening, they're listening. And the people telling them what they want, and they're still saying, oh, the people ain't know what they want. No, the people always know what they want. And you have to go with the groundswell. You have to go with the majority. All right? You have to go with the if they're not going with the majority, something's wrong. There are things I don't like in law, but I might be in the minority with that, you know? And so you just continue to push and try to get more people, galvanize more people to say, no, we need this done. I mean, I believe me, I've been testifying a few times before the Senate to get some things through, especially with labor law and everything else, election rights. But the senators have a way of wording the thing different to how you give it to them, and then you end up, and then you got to tell them, that's not what I gave you. You know, so it's good to draft some things and give it and present it to them, because if it's not in writing, sometimes they'll, twist it to what they think. But the fact is, you can see through them, and they're not in hiding as they used to be. And so I think that people have a more chance now to get things corrected, but again, it ain't gonna happen until you galvanize. It could be 5 of you, we don't care, but it can't be you alone. One person alone ain't gonna rock it. You really gotta, even if you have 5, just stabbing at them, that would help. Some people think you need a herd of people. Not always. Not always.
Wow. There is a lot happening in relation to the rights of our people being violated,
Yeah.
and I think where we are now is we're at a very pivotal point in our history, where unless we understand that our rights are being abrogated and we need to stand to defend what is right and just, we're going to have a serious problem.
But Kenny, you have to make it clear which rights you're talking about. The rights that they gave you in these law books, or the rights that God gave you. The rights that are inherent.
Our unalienable rights, are the rights that God gave us. Because as I mentioned earlier, not all things legal are lawful.
Exactly. But tell me how you're going to get that through to a man who does not know God. And they're the one with the holding the blade. How are you going to get that to them? And
do you think protests work?
They do work. Yes, they do work. They do work because they get the persons realizing, oh God, they're catching on to our scheme. And then they have to twist and they don't quickly, like somebody said, evil men don't think straight. Bear in mind, evil men do not think straight. So they're always going to miss a T, okay? Crossing a T, dotting an I. When you catch it, they're going to try to cover up, but they can't cover up so quick. Because the spirit they're guided by is not one of the divine spirit, okay? Divine spirit makes you quick to attack and quick to get over and so forth. But them other kind of spirit to deal with are slow. And you're not going to come up with things quick.
There's a problem here, my beloved sister, and I'm saying this to you as a point to note.
Okay.
All leaders across the world at this point, and at all maybe 96% of them, are behaving as if they owe no man nothing. They are behaving as if whatever they do is all good and right, and no one has the right to speak to them in relation to what they're doing. You look at what is happening in Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad.
Yes, sir.
The USVI, the BVI, all over the place. Whether it is subtle or is outright, we're seeing a sense where leaders are technically imposing themselves on people rather than doing what is lawful.
Yeah.
And the problem is it is happening legalistically.
Yes. Color of law.
Where do our people go with all of this? Where do we go with this?
I could tell you what a friend of mine said, and she was like, "You're going to get fixed one funeral at a time." But do you think that these people...
You're not supposed to make me laugh so loud.
Listen. Do you think that these people really sleep well at night, though? Because you're saying that they do it with such a force, as if they don't know that they're doing something wrong. But do you think that they really don't know they're doing something wrong?
You make me laugh.
That's my question. You think that they don't know they're doing something wrong? You think they sleep well at night?
So my beloved sister, how in the name of God can a man get up? You know that you're giving the people something to kill them. And you know them, you see them dying. You see children getting crippled, all of that happening. And you still get up and still push it?
Yeah, because they say that there's no proof that it's that's doing that.
Oh, you mean no proof?
It could be, and that's why they talk about these underlying conditions and so forth. I tell people already,
Children having children, the most healthy of all of us, having underlying condition, living all the years, and now all of a sudden them just start to dead, and we're not thinking.
Because they know, they say, and you know that many children are born with issues, right? A lot of children are born with issues, compromising situations, this disease and that disease. You've seen it. And for more reason, those children should be not allowed to take this thing, right? But yes, my point is just to say that, yes, not all children are so healthy and ready to go. Some are compromised. Okay?
But my sister, this even validates the point, even more. While we know this fact, how could anyone in their right sane mind be pushing something on people that you know could compromise their health and kill them?
Listen, I don't want to know if some of them are human, humane, or any of that. I don't know if these are terrestrial beings cloaked as people. I don't know. But something is up, something is, and I don't know if it's as simple as just money. A lot of people think it's just this big money you're getting. I don't know if it's just as simple as that. I don't want to believe it's so simple as that green dollar or whatever color in whatever country. And you know, this thing is still new to us. We know that, right? That's about what, 2019, this thing really came up.
That's precisely, you see, and with all the information coming out of Europe, coming out of Britain, coming out of Israel, coming out of all parts of the world where these things are happening.
Yes.
How could we be so naive at this point in relation to all of this?
Is any way for you to show the clip that the lady was speaking?
I have a ton of them.
Yes, the one I sent you.
No, I didn't prepare that one.
Because that one you could show, because she's saying basically no government has ever been so concerned about their citizens. None in the history of the world. So for them to say they're doing this for the greater good of what? Where have you been? Where have you been for everything else that has been going on?
I find it absolutely amazing. And when the day is over, I mean, I don't normally have these discussions here. Because when the day is done, to be frank with you, for the most part, I tend to just ignore them because ignore these facts. Because when the day is done, I wonder if we have lost our brain or we are just simply, I don't know where we are. But with all the information coming from across the world as we see it, my question is, how could we be so callously disengaging, callously misinformed, if it seems we choose to be misinformed, callously disregarding to the fact that our people are having an absolutely serious time, even coping with the madness that we're imposing on them. And we are technically telling them, if you don't do what we want you to do, you're not getting no food, you're not going to school, you can't travel, you can't this, you can't that. Because it's what convenient to some of us to tell people these things. Huh?
Listen, if the creator above is really still there, and I believe he is, much will be revealed to make this thing come to an end. Okay? Much will be revealed. Countries, I know Europe had said that they're done with that vaccine stuff. It's not working in their country.
It has never worked.
Look at Dominica. That's a great test spot. The people ain't even touched that thing when it came. It was like, rat, know that that's a cheese to catch me, and they never touch it. So Dominica had to get rid of many of the vials, many of the vaccines. They had to just ship them away because they were going to, expire. And I understand that you all, Tatolas, who bought up a lot of them from Dominica.
Uh-oh.
Next thing you know, the spike went up in Tortola.
Uh-oh.
And they said, oh, it's from the houses of ill repute.
Uh-oh.
That was the excuse. But Dominica now maybe have, I don't even know, less than 5 people dead from anything because they don't take the vaccine and they never really even catch COVID, period. And that's the lifestyle, like you said, going back to who we are and the way they eat and so forth. Dominica is a great test spot. If you want to try anything about how to overcome this thing, Dominica, I said they were bush people and that's what they are. They're into the natural stuff.
My sister.
And so they're not getting sick at all.
My
so there
beloved
was
sister.
no use for those vials down there. It was a waste of time in that country. And the Prime Minister ain't saying anything about, oh, it has to be mandated. He knows better because he knows his people. I think leaders have to get to the point where they know their people. If they know you're weak, they'll push these things on you. If they know that get you strong, that, you know, they ain't gonna wait for election to deal with you, you know. They're dealing with you now because they just ain't gonna study you. That's how those people are operating.
Can I just get back into history a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
You remember the Tuskegee experiment? What was the disease they were seeing?
That was syphilis.
Yeah, the disease was syphilis.
Right.
Did all of this medicine that got cure for syphilis, or it made them worse ill? What did it do?
Well, the men died because they were never treated for it.
They were never treated for it. You go to Africa. You go to Africa.
Uh-huh.
And all of these diseases that they were injecting children for in Africa, did it cure them of these diseases?
Uh-huh. Wow.
Rather, the medication they got created more disease.
Exactly.
Have we learned anything from it?
It seems not. It seems not.
No, but the fact is that when you get the jab itself is COVID-19. It creates COVID-19 in your cells. That's what it does. Your cell become spike protein generating factories within your body. So your entire body now become the spike protein. Remember, that is what it does. It is injected into you to cause your body to generate spike protein, which is the pandemic as we speak. Are we not smart enough to see that?
But that's why you cannot blame the manufacturers of the product because they told you all of that from the beginning.
That's precisely my point, my beloved sister. So is it that we are so foolish that we so my grandmother says so stupid that we're not figuring this out?
They told you, but you want to take a chance to see if it would you just an experiment. That's all it is. It's just an experiment and they're just testing it out. Why would you want to be a test site? I don't get that. But you know what I would say? To each their own, okay?
To each their own. Right.
But here's this advice I gave to people. I said, do 4 things, right? If you're going to even consider it, do 4 things. Number 1, tell somebody close to you that you are going to have done or is thinking of engaging in this experiment, this jab. Okay, let somebody know. Don't do it on your own and not conceal it to nobody. Let them know, because if anything go wrong, people need to have an idea, especially your close family or so forth, your closest people around you, what happened. Okay? Number 2, after you've done it, still, or even before you do it, still go to your lawyer. Although they say there's no recourse, you can't sue, you're not going to pursuing. You're going to see, just lodge that complaint with him or her and let them know or see if there's any loophole or whatever. Some people say, okay, you can't sue the manufacturer, well, then sue your government.
Can I burst your bubble? Of course you can sue. You can sue for damages. If you're damaged, you can sue. But the problem is this. Before they take this thing, they sign, and this is where they have sold themselves. They signed a document before they take it.
Yes. You got to sign it.
Whether it is ill-informed consent, because you're supposed to have what they call it, due consent with consent, not consent, with proper information. You're supposed to be duly informed as to what exactly you're getting into before you agree.
Yes.
So
I have friends that took the job and they were informed. They were informed. They were told everything. But what they failed to do, in addition to getting or giving that waiver, I said, did you get a copy of it? Did you get a copy of what you signed?
That's an
No,
unusual. That's an unusual case
I've
because
never known.
for the
I've
most
never
part,
known
they
it.
just go. For the most part, people just go and sign and get it, and that's it.
In
No
all
one
my
tell anyone
study,
anything.
in all my study of law, I've never known of a case where you talk about a waiver, and when you got to go present it to know somebody, you can't present it because you don't have a copy. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that. Never ever in my life till now.
Oh my God.
So the other fourth thing, the third thing I told them is also go to your doctor, get a checkup, so forth. Ask your doctor if you should take this thing. You know, the doctor might say yes or no, whatever. But if all fails, please prepare yourself a will or a trust. Okay? Because when your backside can't up, right? You know, at least you would know you left behind something for someone.
Where's that? Where's that? It can't up. It's like can't up.
You gotta be practical. You gotta be practical. Don't do this thing and then don't tell nobody. Don't tell your lawyer. Don't tell your doctor. Don't tell your friends, your family, and still ain't take out a will or a trust to protect your assets. No, protect your assets. So get something in writing in case something happens to you. I mean,
My.
you
Wow.
don't know your body. You don't know your body. You might have some things in there that you don't even know is wrong. You just feel good. You don't know.
Well, you know, it's very interesting that we have someone who is exposed in law speaking with us in this fashion this evening. And when the day is done, who is better able to relate to these matters from a practical point of view than one who has done the studies in law, who understands the system well? My beloved sister, you have done absolutely phenomenally well this evening. And when the day is done, we need more people like you who are prepared to speak the truth on matters. You don't, you're not doing it arrogantly. You're not doing it because you have any points to score. You're not doing it because you are paid to do this. You're doing it because it is right and just.
Exactly. It's too logical. It's too logical. You, like you say, you don't give up your rights. You just don't. Something feel, and don't get me wrong, maybe the others that did it, nothing felt wrong to them. Nothing felt out of sorts, and that's okay. But at least consider putting in the 4 precautions I just shared, so that if in case you have a backup, you have a backup plan. There's so many people going to lose everything, and it's only going to go right to the same government that set you up, instead of going to your picnic them.
Wow. I hope our listeners I hope you're all taking note of what this beloved woman is saying, you know. She said, make sure that you set up a will, that you something that you the same thing what you have. Let me talk Jamaican patois. You same thing where you work hard for all the years. When you take this job and it kill you, government not come take over you something what you have.
Not at all.
I hope me say it plain so you understand it in colloquial language.
Yeah, because we even heard, Kenny, that even when you could try to get insurance companies were denying you a policy if you took the job. You were hearing that too.
Oh, yes.
So if they're going to deny you, you need to have some set up on your own.
But look now, is it that they know that it's going to kill you? Why they're not accepting you?
Huh? There you go. Well, they are paying attention to the breakthroughs. They're paying attention to the fallouts. The government ain't care about that, but those insurance companies care because they know, hey, that's breaking out. They're not in the business of shell out money. No. So they say, no, we ain't touching you. You know, you don't touch that.
Wow.
And then you hear that they won't take your blood either, but some people say that ain't true. They'll still take your blood, you know, if you have to donate your blood to someone. I don't know. I don't care. I ain't even trying to get into all that discussion. I'm just saying take the precautions just in case. That's it. It can't hurt.
Well, Zaka, I hope you're not right now, Will and Zaka, because that thing's serious. It is not a joke. And when the day is done, my goodness gracious, this beloved sister we have here, she is relating from her own experiences. And my gosh, come on. If you have to write a will before you take this thing, this is crazy. That's what it is. Because when the day is done, a lot of houses are going to be left unoccupied. A lot of vehicles are going to be left parked.
Exactly.
A lot of property is going to be left with rabbit and goat and all things run on it because the people them dead gone left it. It's
well,
it's
you
a
know, like
serious matter.
in church, they teach you about the rapture. It's going to be the rapture.
Oh,
ahead
for
of time.
God's sake, listen to this.
But
Wow.
it's not easy. But in the meantime, my thing is about protecting your family and just about yourself. It's about the whole family. And don't get me wrong, there are some in the family that would say, look, mommy, I don't care what you say, I gonna take that and they of age. But I tell my children, I don't want to be stuck in a position of taking care of you for the rest of your life because of something like that.
There you go.
You handicap, and I have to, it's gonna be, it's the same government could take you, okay,
That's true.
and
Absolutely.
take care of you. You know what I mean?
Precisely. But the thing is, they don't care about anybody right now. All they're thinking about is filling up their back pocket with money and thief in the land and all the rest of garbage that's going on right now. They don't care.
But some examples will happen, and I think as examples more and more come out, even in our local, in Tortola, in St.
Right.
Thomas, in St. John's, as more examples come out and follows from these people who took it. As I've heard of people and they're keeping it quiet, they had their issues, but they're keeping it quiet.
Oh, yes.
And I wouldn't doubt the one in Trinidad and Tobago. I hate to make light of it, but the man with the big balls,
Listen.
I won't doubt it.
The spike protein attack two main places in the body after you take it. One, your reproductive organs. Right? If you're a woman, straight to the womb, bleeding, one time.
Wow.
If you're a man, straight to the balls, one time.
And then for some people, the heart. Yeah.
And the lungs and whatever else, and it messed up everybody.
Exactly.
But your reproductive system, because it is designed to neutralize reproduction. That is what it is. And Bill told us years ago, we're not listening. He tell with too much people in the world. Why are we not listening? So it has to work to neutralize reproduction. It is set to depopulate the world for the next 3 generations. No more picnic and go ban if everybody take it. No more picnic on ban. They tell us.
Why
are we not listening to the real sources and stop talking propaganda trash? We need to get real about it. This is what it is.
Your program has the right name. It's the raw truth. And if people don't want it, ain't nothing much we could do. Those who survive,
my sister, I have not done this type of presentation ever since I started this program. But the more you look at it, is the more you realize that we need to have a practical, frank discussion about this thing. What we're discussing here tonight is not propaganda. These are the facts that are coming out of the CDC and all the other epidemiologists across the world from their headquarters and their offices. They are now alluding to these facts. I have all the videos lined up. I could play all of them. It would blow your mind, some of them, if I play them.
Yeah, I bet. And that's the thing.
I can't do it. My beloved sister, I have to be holding back because some of the information coming from the real sources would just drive you nuts, literally drive you nuts.
Wow. Yeah. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much.
It's too much.
And it's too fast. It's coming at us. Whoop, whoop,
yes. And all you hear coming from some of these idiots call themselves government officials. Oh, that's propaganda. Oh, there's nothing like that. Oh, and then them same people fall, drop dead, and people have all kind of problem. And when that happens, everybody go quiet. Nobody say anything. But it's a disgrace. We need to stop and think practically. We are doing the wrong thing to our people, and it is absolutely criminal. It is
You know what's the worst part of all of this? The amount of censorship on people who are seeing the adverse side of this, okay? The other perspective, the other coin, the amount of censorship, gotta let you know something is wrong with this. This food cannot taste good if it's so much censorship, whether to eat it or not to eat it.
Well, right here on PSI Network, we share information based on our right to do so. It is our constitutional right. It is endorsed by the treaty which was signed by the United Nations. It is endorsed by all the treaties. Our unalienable human rights must be protected, and we stand on that ground absolutely 100% squarely. I've never done anything to belittle anyone on this platform. Neither do we make any presentations that is going to breed propaganda. We share facts here on this platform. And it is just you who need to listen and understand it and do your own research. I keep saying that we're not telling anybody whether to take or not take. Never did that. I'm not an advocate an advocate for or against. Never been. I said, do your own research. Listen, Get the facts, do your own research. And when you have made up your own mind, then you do what you need to do. That is what I've always said. My
Yeah.
beloved sister, we have the 2 hours is done.
Yes.
As you wrap
Yes.
it up, as you put a close on it, your final words, please.
Use your mind. Use your mind. I can't say use your brain. Use your mind. Use that thought process. Ask yourself questions. And then if you can't come with no answers, ask it to the source. They ain't answering you, well, then you leave them be with their thing. Okay? And you make do. My mother used to tell me, if you don't have the money for the car, don't buy it. She said, if you don't have the money for the car, outright now. She's talking about outright. She never believed in crediting anything, pay half here, pay half there. No, no, no. She said, if you don't have money enough for a new car, you drive the old one. Okay, you're not ready for the new one. Okay? So she forced you to save your money and get it together. She never want to owe anybody anything extra than what a thing costs. And you have to consider what your life is worth and don't go paying anything extra. Don't put this thing on you and then have to pay the price later. You're not going to like the price. You're not going to be able to afford the price. You're not going to sleep well. You're going to say, what did I do this for? And, we don't like no missed opportunities, but we also don't like carelessness. And then we have to regret, things that we do. So that's the kind of people we are. And I would like to think that's a human nature thing. No black, white, nothing. So let's do things so we don't have to regret anything. Put the precautions in place just in case, because you might make a bad decision. Any day we do that, and sometimes we hit it, sometimes we miss it. But for God's sake, this one is nothing to gamble on. That's what I want to leave with the people. This is nothing to gamble with. Informed decision, informed choices.
She studied law. She is a member of the local board of elections in the.
Yeah, but don't make it sound like I went to law school. I didn't do that.
That's all right.
Yeah.
The local board of elections in the Virgin Islands. She's very involved in education, labor law, constitutional law, and all the rest of laws that you could imagine. And as much as she's not taking any accreditation for the work she has done, she remains a very practical, viable source of law. And she stands on the square where we believe 100% in the protection of the unalienable rights of our people as Aborigines of the Americas. Moving forward, I encourage all our people to begin to reconnect to your sources or Aboriginal sources, the original sources as we move forward. Because moving forward, a lot will change. Your world is changing. And of course, everything that you heard here tonight will become 100% credible information. My beloved sister, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine. Thank you.
And we look forward to having you back at some time as we look at other matters of interest within the Virgin
I look
Islands.
forward to your shows. I look forward to the other side. What I'm saying tonight might be somebody have another spin on it. It might have somebody who all for the vaccine. Bring them on. I would like to hear other takes because once I gotta be the more truth and the not truth. So, less or more. So we have to just get this thing together, get it right. There
you go. Peace, my sister. Until we catch up again. All the best until later.
Peace, my brother. Thank you.
Okay, my sister. That was Miss Harriet Mercer, an amazing woman. And of course, by now we know that she's not one of the average persons you would have met. She studies law. She's not fooled to what is happening lawfully. And when the day is done, her contribution this evening on this program is absolutely highly credible and 100% practical information that should be shared left, right, and center so all our people can listen and get the facts for yourselves. We thank you so much for watching us, for joining us. Thank you so much for watching this program. And wherever in the world you're watching us from, we thank you so much for making the raw truth a part of your Monday evening activities. Whether you are in the Caribbean region, the USA, Africa, Canada, wherever in the world you're watching us from, we thank you so much for joining us. Please, if you have not become, if you're not a member of our platform, please go to Facebook and go to PSI TV on Facebook and like the page. Go to PSI Network on Facebook and like the page. And if you're a YouTube fan, please go to YouTube and type in PSI TV live broadcasts, PSI TV live broadcasts on YouTube, and like the channel as well. Whatever you do, take care of yourselves and be wise. Don't be coerced into doing things that you ought not to do. Many people have died being coerced. Many people who should have been alive today are now dead as a result of being coerced. Will you be one of them? You make that decision. Do not allow yourself to be forced into doing anything if it does not feel right. If you do not feel a need to do so, don't allow yourself to be coerced or forced into doing anything. You have the right to choose. That's your right, your unalienable right to choose, your God-given right to choose. I support you choosing based on your right. Do not allow anything or anyone to put you in a position where you feel you don't have a choice. Whenever you feel you are left with no choice, something is happening that is wrong. You have a choice. And when the day is done, you need to utilize that choice with caution and with informed consent. Peace be to you. All the very best until we catch up a little later on. Next Monday evening at the same time, we have another edition of The Raw Truth. And of course, please share this with all your friends as we continue to bring to you live practical information right here from PSI Network. The very best to you until we see you next week, Monday evening at 8. Take care of yourselves. All the very best.